Hello, I'm Maxine Drake, and I am live with Richard Merrill from Los Angeles. Richard is I want to call you like a world-renowned esthetician in LA because you just have your hands in so many things between your own practice, NASN, and of course he's on today talking about advanced mineral makeup because Richard is an educator with advanced mineral makeup. And so we're going to talk like makeup today and how bringing in makeup can benefit your business, your practice, whether or not. We're going to cover a couple different things because Richard and I have been chatting for, we have, several phone conversations, right, Richard?
Yeah,
About,
good.
yeah, about the artist esthetician and also the non-artist esthetician. And I think that's kind of where we wanted to start first. But welcome, Richard. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
I know this is fun. So yeah, let's dive right into that because you are obviously the artist esthetician who has had his hands in all kinds of makeup and good and bad. And so why advanced mineral makeup now?
Well, it's interesting because I started in the beauty industry actually in makeup. I was a counter manager for a very popular trend brand, which was really fun, got me a lot of great experience. But as my education grew and I became a licensed esthetician, one of the things that became a really big concern for me is choosing products that are an addition to your treatment. So with cosmetics, it's so common in your conventional makeup to find ingredients that are drying, that cause hyperpigmentation. And it's counteractive to what we're doing in the treatment room. So with
Right.
advanced mineral makeup, I found a line that gives you great color coverage with a high definition for the artist, but it's also good for your skin. It's got essential oils, it's got antioxidants, it's got treatment-based ingredients. So you get that color, but you get that extra benefit of more skincare ingredients in your makeup.
Right. And it is important. It is important. I mean, that's kind of a segue to one of the topics that we wanted to kind of cover today, which was also the green esthetician, because estheticians today, I mean, ingredients are seriously important. I mean, they always have been, but I think that in the last 5 years, would you agree that, like, seriously, everyone's dissecting every little thing, on the ingredient label? Agreed?
Well, I agree, and I think part of that is consumers have a more vested interest in knowledge.
Yep.
So they're not just going to their beauty counters and purchasing colors they like. There's a lot more information via the World Wide Web, professionals, estheticians, and we're educating our consumers. So it's getting their brains going and they're getting excited, kind of knowing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then they're doing their own research.
Right. I know. It's really true. I mean, thank God for the internet. I mean, it's like there is so much information out there. But, and for me, from my perspective, just like we kind of talked about too, I mean, I love all of those things too, because I teach business and marketing for the esthetician for them to excel in their practice. I love Annie's makeup because, well, number one, it's HD. So as I'm coaching more and more estheticians to step up and do a little bit more video and do a little bit more live streaming, it's really important to have that HD makeup. I had a total faux pas one time by not actually having, what did I put on? I put on, I just like, you know how you just like get into these routines in the morning and you're like, oh, you pull your stuff out of your cabinet and you just start putting stuff on. It's just your flow. And
Yeah.
so, for a while there, I was using SPF in my base and it gave that really funny hue. And I was just like, and I was filming that day and I was just went through my motions, like not thinking, hey, wait a second, stop your flow. You need to do things a little bit different if you're going on camera today, and the importance of HD makeup. So I am, of course, wearing her powder, and the concealer, hello, is probably one of my absolute favorite items. And I think it's one of the top sellers, right?
It is one of the top sellers, and you bring up a really interesting point with SPF. If you use a physical sunscreen, its purpose in life is to sit on the surface of the skin and reflect the UV rays off at the surface.
Right.
And what's really cool about advanced mineral makeup, the liquid and both the pressed and the loose powders have an SPF. They have the titanium dioxide and the zinc oxide in there. So you get your sun protection, but the way that they're finely milled with the 100% pigment, you get that color coverage without that white flashback on camera. And you'll find advanced mineral makeup is used on 27 hit TV shows, including Grey's Anatomy, NCIS, just to name a few of them. And you see their makeup looks flawless on camera. And that's because, again, that milling process, you get that SPF in there, so it's that skincare additive, but you get that really good airbrushed finish because of the flawlessness of the application process.
Right. And I think that's why Annie actually created it, right? Wasn't it for like some TV celebrities initially, and then it just kind of branched out into something
So it
bigger?
started off, Annie is a TV film makeup artist, and she was an esthetician, and at one point she even had her own salon and spa. And one of her biggest goals is to work on creating products that are healthy for the client. And, being in TV film, she has access to a lot of makeup brands and products that are not so healthy for the skin. So
Right.
she really blended her esthetician knowledge and her spa knowledge in with her makeup artistry knowledge and said, I want something that's good for my client, but I do TV, I do makeup artistry work. I need something that
Yeah.
works. And so often with your traditional brands that are green or healthy, you don't get the pigment, you don't get the color coverage, you get blotchy patchiness. And so those are all things that as she developed this line, she really had to look at and say, I need something that is top notch. And what I personally love is she did it at such an affordable price point too.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
a really good point there too, as well. So let's just talk about the artist esthetician and the non-artist esthetician, because you and I were like so funny when we were talking about this because we're both, you're the artist and I'm the non. And I think that you know, speaking to the artist esthetician, I think it's much easier for them to add a makeup line to their practice and then sell tons of it, right? You want to speak to that? Because I'm going to speak to the other.
So I think for an artist based professional, I'm kind of all in the blend world too. I have my
Yeah.
own esthetician practice. I think, but as an educator working with the accounts that I work with, there's two fears that I hear the most. And one is not wanting to put makeup on, period. And they're like, I just did this great skincare treatment. I don't want to go and put all this color on
Yeah.
them. But there's something fun about just playing with color and giving your clients this new perspective of what color can be. And so as an artist, I love that exchange. I love to get in there, put bold colors on for eyeshadows, maybe punch their cheeks up a little bit with a darker contoured blush versus such a natural. And although the line is concise, it's so full range. All of the products can be used all over the face because they're also clean and clear. And as an artist, I love kind of mixing and matching. So I'll use blush on the eyes. I'll use eyeshadow sometimes to go in and contour, or I'll use the foundations even as eyeshadows. If I need a blendable matte finish, I'll
Yeah.
just make a darker eyeshadow foundation and use it as an eyeshadow. So as an artist, I really have the expansion to play, but as an esthetician, I have the confidence to be able to bring it into my treatment room post facial and say, let's have some fun. And that's
Right.
what color cosmetics should be. It should be fun, no matter whether you're an esthetician or an artist.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And I think that, like we were just saying earlier today too, just that the fact that the ingredients are so healthy. So even if you did do a treatment, you're adding that extra layer of protection before you send them out the door as well, on top of all the other benefits of making them look like maybe they didn't have a treatment, you know.
Exactly.
Which I think is kind of, could be cool branding for an individual if, for a practitioner, if every single client left their practice.
The carpet ready.
But yeah, but cover ready. But then, okay, so that's the artist. I think the artist is going to, or has the capability of allowing their guest, their client to leave cover ready. Me, I was the opposite. So I was the non-artist esthetician that did not do any bridal makeup when I had my practice. And if anything, I was terrible. I thought I was terrible at makeup. Even my own, I just did the bare bones, right? But it doesn't mean, even if you're not good at it, it doesn't mean that you can't put on a little eyebrow. Everybody needs usually a little bit of eyebrow, enhancement, a little bit of eyebrow, a little bit of foundation, and a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of lip gloss, and you send them out the door. And that was one of the things that I would do to polish my own treatment, even though I wasn't an artist. I'm like, well, I can do that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and make them feel pretty when they're leaving. Or a lot of times if, clients were leaving midday and had to go back to work, now they didn't look like they got a treatment or what have you. So I think, and what would happen there is that was a guaranteed 3 sales, because people would be like, well, I want that eyebrow, pencil or powder or lip gloss, or, you're matching them right there with, foundation. So it was great. And I think it's a missed opportunity for a lot of, estheticians. Then I'm speaking to the non-artists now, because we fall into that different category of, we're not super comfortable with makeup, but that I was. And anybody can, do a little matching. That's really fairly simple, to do a little matching and send them out the door. What do you think about that?
Well, you hit a topic that's really close to my heart.
Hmm.
Throughout my career, I've been sales based. And so
Yeah.
I have a natural confidence to share products, whether it's
Hmm.
skincare recommendations, color cosmetic recommendations, even sometimes fragrance recommendations for my clients who are reactive. And one of the things that I've noticed as an educator kind of out and about is, doesn't matter if you're an esthetician or an artist, you're always looking for ways to improve your business and to increase your sales.
That's right.
I have clients that are on 7 products with their skincare regimen.
Hmm.
They last 3 months. My clients are coming in every 2 to 4 weeks. What am I filling in between? Well, finish off a treatment with your powder, your pressed powder. It's got the anti-inflammatories in there. It has the redness correction, so you don't need to add the concealer necessarily.
Oh,
But it's a
nice.
quick finish.
Yeah.
Just throw that powder on and maybe a little blush, and they've got a new product and you've got a new sale. Next time they come in, maybe do the powder and then throw a blush on there. So you get a buildable sales funnel, and you slowly step your clients in, and you're starting to build your business in a whole new way. And what's
Right.
really fun, like you talk about, is taking that to video.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter. I mean, women are buying their makeup somewhere.
Right.
So why not be from you? And, so that's the missed opportunity there. But kind of speaking along the green lines again, because we kind of forgot a really important part of it, and that's the packaging and the ability to refill. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Chat about that.
Oh, chat
So
about that.
one of the things that I love is we have the foundations, which come in the liquid mineral, the pressed, and the loose.
Yeah.
But we also have palettes that are ready to go. And I'm going to zoom in here kind of close.
Yep.
And you see you have your 4 shadows that are already preset. You have a luminizer and a blush. So this can be their kit to go. And when I'm in the treatment room, I actually work straight from this. And the reason for that is this darker color is a matte. It's great to fill in eyebrows. I can pop in a little bit of the vanilla
Yeah.
to just give them a nice little highlight, hit them with some blush, and I've just sold this entire palette to them. And then the great thing for that eco-conscious consumer and service provider, when they are done, they can pop this pan out and replace it. So they keep the
Nice.
palette, the bottom of it is magnetic, so you can replace that, and then you get your cute little brushes, which, let's be honest, how
Oh,
many things are in your bag right now?
oh my God. It is so, but it's true. And she does have amazing brushes too, because there's nothing more annoying than like doing your face and then you're picking off hairs from
Right.
your brush, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. But yeah. So and it's so awesome that you're an educator for Annie Mayo. who is the founder and owner of Advanced Mineral Makeup. But let's just talk about like a little bit of, I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's a lot of brands out there, and I think it's really important. What was that? Oh
Everywhere.
my God, it
Brands
is.
everywhere these days.
It's so true. I get asked all the time, like, why? When people, ask me about Annie, I'm like, well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, it's the people behind the brand too. How are you going to be taken care of? And, when I owned my spa, I had a massive line, and I had to order in groups of 3 if I wanted one color, which was not, it's just it's crazy, and you end up with all these SKUs that you don't use. And so I do love, you said it earlier too, I love how concise. There's really not that many SKUs in the grand scheme of things with Annie, but I do love how the colors. And how did you say it as an artist? Because I know that like there's not that many like foundational colors, but they have this wide range. It's crazy. So that's appealing, to a lot of the solo estheticians who can't do this huge investment into these big lines, that where you have to, when you reorder, there is a minimum, which is another thing with Annie. And, you can order single items if you need them.
Yeah.
But what kind of support do you give? Like if I were, if I were a new esthetician partnering with Richard today, and what kind of support, do I get when I come
Well,
on
there's
board with you?
a couple of points I want to touch on.
Yeah.
You mentioned the independent solo practitioner.
Yeah.
And I'm in a 10 by 10 space. This is where I'm at today. I don't have space for a huge line and a lots of individual pieces. One of the great things about advanced mineral makeup is that's the entire line. That's,
Yeah.
you can treat all of your clients in such a small way. And when it comes to ordering, if you're not the artist esthetician, well, what do I start with? Well,
Yeah.
start with your bases, 1 or 2 of the colors in your client range, and maybe just have a palette in your lip glosses. You don't have to bring in the whole line. We do have a $125 minimum order for all orders, but that's a personal order. It's very easy to do. And the other thing that's really nice is when you come on, whether you come on with a $125 or a $6,000 order, everybody's business is unique, and we make it
Yeah.
really, really clear that we want to meet you where you are and help you grow your business. So as one of my new accounts, one of the things that I do is right away, I want to get you on a Skype call if you're not local, and let's talk about what your goals are, because
Yeah.
everybody's a little different. For my local clients, let's host a launch party. Let's get the products on your clients and let's have fun. Annie will also come out if she's available or one of our other educators are available. We come out because our goal is to support you. We love our
Right.
brand, but you're new to it. How do you get to love it? Well, you get to play with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes cosmetics and color fun, is there's not a lot of learning that you need to do. We have a baseline that works for everyone,
Yep.
but it's all about that milling process. And one of the things, the other parts of that is that color correction. When you go with other lines, you'll see a lot of concealers. You'll see a yellow concealer. You'll see a purple concealer. You'll see a white concealer. We've gotten rid of that. We've really made it easy for the non-artist to get in here and use the products. And the way we do that is by creating a neutral base in the color line. So
Yeah.
you can get in there and play and feel confident first day. I just had a new account that's in Arkansas that called me, and she came from another line that made the education so difficult, but we want to break it down and make it easy. I did a quick Skype call with her, and she called me after her next client, right after our call, and sold $300. $300. Her first,
Wow.
she had just unboxed it. It wasn't even fully set up in her space. And it's because it's so easy. It's just that easy, no matter where you are. And
Yeah.
she's just like you. She's the non-artist. She doesn't feel confident in color. But one call, 30 minutes, and I'm going to have you selling right away. And the way we do that is we meet you where you are. We're not here to pressure you. We're not here to sell to you. Notice my title is educator, not sales rep. The reason for that is because I'm here to support you. Sales are all about the dollars. That's your job. We're making you the dollars.
Yeah, as it should be. And I love that you said that, like meet you where you are. I think that's really important because in today's practice, even when I'm coaching estheticians, they really want that customized attention, as do our clients when they come in to see us in the treatment room. And it's no different, for the esthetician too. And I think it's really important to do what you said in that onboarding process. I love that you do the Skype. I love that you get to know, the new account and help them through. And also that they don't have to start out with everything, because you don't have to be everything right away, and you don't even know what you need yet except for the basics. So I think starting off with the basics is and do you happen to know off the top of your head, like with the basics, what that on the smaller end of an investment might be? Can they do it with the 125, or is it beefed up just a little bit more?
So at $125, you're looking at a personal order with a few extra items.
Okay.
So that'll get you started to use the products in your space, but
Yeah.
that's not going to give you retail. And I
Yeah.
know you feel the same way
Yeah.
I do. You can't sell it if you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I try to do is I always work with people's budget, and so there is a little bit of wiggle room. But to get a really good base, you're looking at around $750 to $1,000 to get started right away, and that's not a huge investment. But what makes us a little different is it's a lot of product for that amount. So you're
Right.
going to get a wide range to be able to have a little bit of flexibility. Because I think that's the hardest thing is maintaining flexibility in your practice.
Yeah.
And so we'll work with you and find you. And now that I say that, I've even had one client come in at 500. And so there's ways to work around the numbers. So I don't start there. I start out with what is your current clientele? What
Yeah.
are your numbers and what do you need? So it's a little more individual for each person.
It really is. And, that customized approach is really important. So, wow. So that's really good. Okay. So what else? Let's see. I don't think the support, the green, the artists, the benefits, we've talked about all of that. Is there anything that we've missed, or is there a question that I didn't ask?
I want to show a few of the marketing materials that we provide, if
Okay.
that's okay
Yeah,
for you.
I would love it.
So when you're the non-artist, and I think the number one question that I get from my non-artist estheticians is, how do I color match?
Oh, yeah. Right
So
on.
terrified to color match my clients because I don't want to go too light, I don't want to go too dark, and I don't want them to look chalky, and I don't want them to look greasy. So how do I do that? Well, Annie created this really fun little tool. This is our celebrity shade finder. So it breaks down into light to dark. So instead of going light natural beige, and some of the traditional things that you see in cosmetic ranges, we just broke it down really easy. So we have the Taylor collection, which is your porcelain skin, the Angelina collection, which is your Italian, lightly warm, starting to get into the warm, yes. Then we have Eva, which is the more Latin, going a little warmer into the skin. And then the Holly is for the darker skin tones. But the other question I always get is it really going to work for dark skin tones?
I
I think
know. Yeah.
that is the hardest thing in the market, is to match. The Holly range will go from your Indian clients all the way to your darker pigmented clients. And the reason that it works so well is because the way that these products oxidize on the skin, they actually melt in and blend to your skin tones, which is how we get away with not using the purple, the yellow, the blues,
Wow,
all the
that's
color correcting techniques. And it's because of those base foundation tones. We keep everything in a really neutral tone that warms into your skin. One
oh
of the
gosh.
other favorite tools is at the end of every treatment, I will finish my client off with a base, whether it's a liquid, a pressed, or a loose, and a blush to warm it up and give them a little bit of life, which is also great if they've just had microneedling, laser, a peel. They're usually bright red. Even if you've had a little bit of waxing and some reaction from
Yeah.
the waxing, because of the anti-inflammatories and the antioxidants in this line, you can use it right after their treatment, cover that redness, and cover hyperpigmentation without causing more damage. But when I do my color consultation, our brochures are broken down to include all of the products, and I actually will take this brochure and I will color match the client, and then I'll circle their color and make a note and send them home with this and note it on their client chart. But then they know. So say they weren't prepared today, they know what their color choices are, and they can look, oh yeah, I want the Annie lipstick. So if they have to call me and place their order, they can do that. So we make it really, really simple for the esthetician to do the post consultation, show the products, and then close that sale super simple.
Hey, that's what it's all about. And you know what? They want simple. Estheticians want simple. Like, just tell me, give me the simple approach, the simple and honest and genuine approach. So I love it. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. What else?
So, how do you finish a treatment, Maxine?
How do I finish a treatment?
Yeah.
Well, when I was in the treatment room,
Yeah.
well, I used to obviously, with their moisturizer and SPF. But as far as makeup, my three things that I just loved to do because I was the brow queen was I loved to fill in brows, and I loved to put some foundation on them, and I loved the lip gloss.
Yes, I'm a huge lip gloss fan.
Hmm.
So with the treatment, the pressed powder is going to give you maximum coverage. And what I like about it specifically is it's lightweight. So you get that max coverage, but you don't get that heavy feeling, and it's not going to fall into fine lines or wrinkles. So it works across the board from your young client all the way to your mature client. But what I want to do is show you a quick little tip. I like a very, very soft kabuki brush from Advanced Minerals. One thing that other mineral lines teach you to do is swirl, tap, and then brush it on and swipe it on. We want to make it simpler for you and your client. Roll your brush into your powder. If you swirl it, because it's so compact in here and there's so much product in here, you'll break up too much, and that's how you start to get that dust flying. So you'll just roll your brush onto the color, close the compact, and then on your client, you're going to press the color into their skin and roll the brush.
That's pretty
Now
cool.
think about that. You're relaxed. You just had a really nice facial treatment, and then you just finish it off with this cool dusting, and you've just sold another product. But look how simple that is. Just roll it
Right.
right onto the skin. And
Right.
there's a little bit where you want to blend it out. Blend it right out, all with one brush. Dip it in the blush of your choice, highlight their cheeks, and off they go.
Yeah.
So it's a great way. You've just sold two products. And then, of course, your favorite, that lip gloss. So
Yeah. And the
a
eyebrows.
great way to add it on, but it's so simple. And one of the things that we do, though, is that technique.
I love that. It's not like, like let me
Right.
right. Let me
And
wake
the
you up
great
from
thing
your
is that
facial.
technique applies to the loose, too. I noticed in the
Yep.
beginning of our conversation, you're like, I'm not a super fan of loose. And you don't know how many times I hear that. I love
Ah,
it. I love it, love it, love it,
convince
love it. It's
me.
my favorite.
Okay.
I will actually wear my liquid mineral and then set it with this so that I get a semi-matte finish.
Uh-huh.
But that technique that I showed you with your press that you're already used to, you can still do it with this. All you do, tap your product into the loose mineral and then roll it into the lid so that you can shake off that excess. But again, it's that rolling versus that stir it up and waste
Right.
$10 in product. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Uh,
Wow, you get all of
all
that.
about technique.
It is, but see, that's why it's so important to have the education, and advanced mineral makeup is pretty lucky to have you guide them to all these little ins and outs, because I think at the end of the day, that's what we want, as estheticians in the treatment room. We want to show me the ins and outs. Let me see the tips and tricks, and what's going to make me look good, what's going to, look good as an esthetician and a professional, and also what's going to be simple. So you hit a lot of of my favorite words and their favorite words. And even when I'm teaching business and marketing, they're like, give it to me simple, you know, because it
Got to
doesn't
keep
work.
it in the treatment room. Got to keep it super simple.
Yeah, super simple. My goodness. Richard, I loved this. I'm so grateful that had the opportunity to do this today and have a chat about advanced mineral makeup and spotlight you as the new educator. And so thank you so much for joining in today. It was a pleasure to
For
have you.
having me. I have a very big heart, and I got a soft spot for the independent practitioners. And I'm really excited to be able to bring something new that is truly valuable to the esthetician. Um, and so I'm really excited to be able to share this information and we're working on some new education platforms and things. So I'm excited to be able to be here with you and kind of jumpstart 2017 that way. Uh,
Yeah, we'll be
and
seeing you in March.
Yes, I was just gonna say, and we'll be there in March at the Los Angeles event, and I'm super excited. It's a very fun time right now. I think
It
for
is.
Maxine Drake, for Advanced Mineral Makeup, we're all having a really great year.
And we should, I mean, we're not doing brain surgery here. This is skincare and beauty products, and it should be fun. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you at the Abundant Esthetician Workshop. That's on March 26th, Sunday in El Segundo. So just south of LA there. And yeah, and Richard will be our guest speaker, and you're going to be doing a little demo. I'm going to come see you because we're going to do a little demo at your place. I think we're getting together the day before, so I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to definitely have some fun before we do some work on that Sunday for sure. But thank you again for coming on board today and doing this little interview. And I will see you in LA, my dear.
I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.